Welcome to Musicians Peer Support, everybody. Today we're welcoming Brianna Shelko. Thank you so much for being here, Brianna. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to talk with you guys today.
I'm very excited to talk to you, especially on camera, because, well, for a lot of reasons, but your like origin story, like your background story, is really something that is relatable, I think, to a lot of independent artists. Um, and so it's the first question I always ask. I'm really excited to ask you, where did you grow up?
So I was born in Providence, Rhode Island, so northeast coast, but we moved down to Georgia when I was about 6 or 7, something like that. But the majority of our family is still in Rhode Island and Florida and Italy.
Oh,
So, but I grew up in this little town called New Harley, Georgia.
nice. Okay. So, how did you get your start in music?
Oh man. Okay, so just like every other musician who's going to tell you they've been singing since they were able to talk, that's exactly my story. I came out the womb literally saying I'm a superstar, and my mom will never let me forget it. By the age of 2, my mom noticed that my ears were very sensitive to music. If there was something that was playing that I didn't like, I would cry, I'd whine, I would ask her, say off, off, things of that nature. Especially I was around a lot of demos when I was a kid, and some of those were not very good. So,
What was your exposure? How did you get exposure to demos back then?
yeah, so my mom had well, she has sisters, and some family members have had demos. And so like I remember being exposed to demos at a very early age of like, oh, this is a rock and roll demo, or this is a whatever. And these are original compositions. Some of them are awesome and some of them weren't, just like every other demo. But I remember just for the most part, anything that sounded off, like in pitch, I wouldn't like. And my mom would kind of clock that when I was around 2 or 3. And then by the age of 5 or 6, I was really pushing for, hey, I want to be in like not chorus. What do they have when you're 5 years old? It's like that program. Like I just said I want to sing, and most of that took place in a church choir. So yeah, always singing. And then 7 years old, I got this little toy piano for Christmas, and it was like half. It was honestly very like one of those ding 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 ding, like super super toy pianos. And I learned how to play Heart and Soul. Dun 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 dun. And I ended up creating my own. I had a crush on a boy. Yes, at 7 years old. I was yeah, I was advanced. No, I'm just kidding. I wrote a song called Hi 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 at 7 and decided that I was gonna, go to the talent show with that song. And my mom was dating this guy. She'd recently divorced from my dad, and he was a rock star. Like he had all this recording set up at his house and stuff. And he said, "Well, I'll cut her first demo." So I had my first demo cut when I was 7. And then yeah, from there I had recorded an album every year since I was 7 years old. So that's how I got my start. I mean, it was really, I hate to say like I was born to do it, but there's actually literally no reason for me to be a musician. Like my mom played flute and
Mhm.
she sings occasionally, but like, and I have an aunt who sings really well, but there's nobody in my family that's like a famous musician or anyone to, like they play in locally, or they'll play in dive bars, or they'll play like, which is really cool. But I always had a different vision for music, and I didn't have anyone to kind of be that North Star.
Yeah.
So I kind of started becoming my own North Star.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, my father was an engineer and my mom was a nurse.
Yep.
But at HBO, we had some real tape reels and stuff like that. So early exposure to recording stuff. So your story jumps from cutting that demo to recording an album in a year.
Yeah.
So that's the part that I want to hear because I was tinkering with these, tape reels and stuff back in the 80s, scissors and tape
Yeah.
literally. So
Yeah.
what did it look like for you at that age?
Tascam. So
That's right.
we had like the 6 channel Tascam, and my mom bought it, and it actually it really didn't even start. This the Tascam came second, but the first thing I did was she bought an electric keyboard, which was a full-blown 88 key, whatever it was, and it had drum settings on it, and it had the ability to record on the keyboard. And so you'd press channel 1, you would record, and then you would, set, and then you could do the drum beats, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap. So I literally create like all 10 of my, it's crazy to think about now because I'm like, gosh, I rely on producers so much, but I used to be that producer. I could still be that producer if I put my mind to it. But yeah, I literally from the mud, retracking everything on a 6 channel like
Because you
keyboard.
already had the ear prior, so
Yeah.
it was like you had developed an ear, and then do you remember it feeling natural? That, because I mean, like a whole entire
Oh yeah.
album in a year, it was like, okay, oh, this is how I do this. I'm gonna layer things. I remember thinking like remember the vocal delays, the older vocal delays. I grew up in
Yeah.
the 80s, so it was like, it was very much, I felt natural. That felt like a happy place to me. Was it kind of that feeling of like, this is where I was meant to be when you got into the Tascam stuff, where you're like, yeah, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, it was, but I was also I was my own worst critic. So like it felt like I was supposed to be there, but then if I missed one note, I would be so I mean, I was so hard on myself. And my mom did a good job of critiquing me, but also letting me know, hey, you need to do that again. Or like, but you sound great, do that again, so
So
she
you
would
had
help me.
somebody who was supportive to
Yeah.
get you through those. So you learned a lot about the balance of a lot of things that as independent artists we deal with, in terms of like having an idea and putting it on paper, so to speak, um, and a few other things too in there. But then also the added level of entrepreneurship came early to you as well, right?
Yep, definitely came early.
Yeah, tell us about that.
You know, I think for me, I have a very Italian father and a very Italian background. And so if you know anything about Italians, you know that they are workhorses. They literally will work their fingers to the bones. So, growing up, we didn't have like money. We had love and we had a roof over our head and we had enough clothes, just enough clothes, not an excessive amount of clothes. And we had food and we had very few toys. And like for Christmas, we had maybe 2 or 3 gifts that we really wanted under the tree, which is more than some. So we were very blessed. Um, with that being said, being the kid I am, I always wanted so much more and I wanted to keep going and I wanted to build. So at 7, I realized, my mom sat me down. She was like, "Hey, we don't have the money to like put you in a recording studio. We just don't. You don't have like a rich uncle somewhere, who's gonna do this for you." And I said, and at this time, Greg was already gone. That was the ex. He was already gone. So I was like, oh no, not Greg. No, I have no one to record my stuff. So there was a local studio in town, and my dad had built this, credit system, knowing that I was a different type of kid. He knew that I was, I don't have any children, but I hear that when you have children, you just know, like, if they are different types, if they're just different. And he knew I was just built different. So he created this catalog, just like a little sheet of paper that said like sweeping is $3, vacuuming is $5, like mopping is $2, that kind of thing. And then he put my name on he was a small pest control company owner, still is. And because he was a business owner, he put my name as a defendant, as a dependent on his credit card. And so I was able to start building credit since I was 7 or 8. And at the age of 16, just I was able to buy my own card without any signatures from parents at all. So back back to when I was 7 or 8, money to like put me in allowance kind of state. And I would take that money and I would ask my mom, can you take me to Hobby Lobby? We'd go to Hobby Lobby, we'd buy a bunch of bracelet beads and then, string and scissors and stuff like that. And in my family, we are a bunch of jewelers that like up in the Northeast, a lot of jewelry companies and stuff. And my grandmother owned a jewelry company with my father. So I thought, oh, I'm naturally good at, I love jewelry. I've always been like attracted to jewelry. So I started making bracelets that summer. And I didn't have anywhere to like put them. So I literally took a notebook, like college ruled notebook, and I would tape the bracelets in a line on the notebook. And then I would go around and show people like it was a catalog. And I'd open it up and be like, would you like a bracelet? You know, pick one. And I'd put like like superstar on one. It would have like all the stars and purple and yellow stars and stuff like that. And my mom would take it to work and she would sell the bracelets because I would ask her to. And then she'd say, now, Bree, you know that I'm not going to charge you a commission. But my parents were very business with me, like even from a really young age. My mom was like, you have to reinvest. And I'm like, what do you mean? Because I saw some money come in. I was like, oh, studio money. She's like, no, you have to reinvest. Like, who's going to pay for your next set of, beats? And I'm like, oh, okay. So that was my start at entrepreneurship. It was very young, and then ever since then it's been continual, to
So
say
you
the
learned
least.
it, right? Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
a journey. It's a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
Um, so you learned at an early age how to support your creativity
Yep.
um, by like supplemental income and like being resourceful, using your creativity and other artistic ways to, financially support yourself. So it may not have been music um, giving you the money to record music,
Yeah.
but the jewelry making is also creative and maybe fulfilling even. Um,
It was. Yeah.
yeah.
It was
So
very creative.
those are skill sets you have to have as an independent artist, aren't they?
Well, and marketing, like, so, a lot of the questions I get these days is like, Brie, I see you everywhere. Like, I'll see you on LinkedIn, or I'll see you on Instagram, or I'll see you at a conference. And the biggest thing I learned, like, since I was young, is that you have to. And it was so uncomfortable because, guys, I was like the shyest kid. I know if you can even believe that, but I was the shyest. I would not sing in front of anyone. If I was recording in front of someone, I'd make them turn around. Like, I was the shyest person in a room at like all times. And it was a nightmare for me to market myself. That's something I naturally had to grow out of. So yeah, now we're still
And
marketing myself.
and yeah, and when you say like naturally grow out of, I mean that's not easy. Like how do you define that? Like what did that look like for you?
um, well, meaning like what was the stage that I grew out of it? Yeah, I think for me it was at mm, I don't know if there was like an actual point of me saying, "Oh yeah, I'm good." But like I think for me maybe when I was in high school there was a talent show and I ended up making history at this talent show, but it was called Every Child's a Star. And I had had this terrible nightmare about my brother. My brother has had some mental challenges and stuff like that. And growing up like it was always like a hit or miss with him, you know what I mean? Like you just never knew how he was gonna be. Um, but watching him grow up, like, and being closer to him, like, you have these fears of, like, what if I lost you kind of thing. So I wrote this song called If I Ever Lost You. I played it on a baby grand, in front of like 300 people at this local place. I was trembling. You can hear it in my voice. That's not natural vibrato. That is tremble. I was absolutely horrified to be on that stage. But then when I got done with the song and I looked out to my right, it was my very first ever standing ovation at 15 years old. And every single one of those 300 people were standing up. And they ended up awarding me in all categories. It was the first time anyone had ever won the whole show, overall winner, and then also in my class division and every other class division. So I think there were 3 trophies. But um, that was the first time where I thought maybe I could do this.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Fast forward to now, gosh, you're an amazing recording artist. This is an artist spotlight for a reason.
Yeah.
Um, you found a voice early, a very articulate, expressive voice very early, and those are kind of deep. Those are deep things that's to sing about, and that shows such extreme resilience. That story about emotional strength and all the things that come with as an adult. We know this now as independent artists. We have to like decompress and filter all the things. What would you say to independent artists with that journey, at whatever age, where maybe they haven't had that revelation yet. They haven't had that three trophy evening
Yeah.
standing ovation. I remember my first standing ovation too in high school. I was like, oh my God.
Wow, this is cool.
Like,
Yeah.
and then fast forward to now, I was like, be careful with that feeling, by the way. But also,
Very.
this kind of like you had a belief in yourself, it sounded like. I mean, it sounded like you were like, if I do this, I'm going, it's very practical oriented, because I think part of the problem is like we don't really, it's like, if I do this, I can do this. But a lot of times we don't see that there's even a path to do the thing.
Oh, there was absolutely zero path when I was coming up. There, I mean, absolutely, there was nobody doing what I was wanting to do. Like, there was no awareness. Like, every time that someone asked me, "Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?" I want to be a singer, but I want to be the singer in the movies. I want to be the princess voice. I want to be Ariel. Like, why are they not picking me to sing this song? You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to do, but no one knew it was called sync. And if they did, it was so at by the time. Listen, guys, I mean, I'm 32 now, so when I was like maybe 15, there was no awareness, right? It was still very like fake gated, like gated security, high alarm, like dark. There's Dobermans, like nobody's getting in. You know what I mean? Because people were very skittish, one about working with people outside and inside their network, but two, I think the money was so good that they just didn't want to share it. There was a lot of greed happening in sync. So therefore, like I missed out on a lot of opportunities. But to answer your question, I think if someone hasn't had their aha moment, their standing ovation moment, the one thing I would just encourage them to do is to never, ever, ever chase that. Because when you start chasing the applause, you lose the voice in the back of your head that was there when you were lonely, because now there's like a bunch of people in a room with you, and you lose that voice that tells you how you actually feel, because you're too worrying about how other people think you feel or should feel. So don't ever chase the applause, because there was a section in my life from like 15, from that moment, my aha moment, till about 21, when I was absolutely miserable in my journey as a musician. And I mean, I was getting shows, I was getting booked, I was touring, I was doing all the things, but I mean, one, the money was terrible. And two, the money was even more terrible because I didn't love it anymore. I was so mad. I was chasing like all sorts of things, but I was not chasing what I actually wanted to write about. Been signed, unsigned, all that good stuff. Hit a bunch of roadblocks because I was just worried about like what was going to take me to that next applause. It wasn't even like, let me keep building for me and what I want to do and find my path up to this world of, Disney princess land of like singing as a princess. It was like, what is the quickest dollar bill? And what is the one that's going to get me in the least amount of trouble? And it ended up getting me all in trouble. So it didn't work out. So, you know,
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. And it's like some of the like understated parts I think of, the quote unquote music industry, and like, because we have to take care of ourselves first and foremost. And I mean, like, why do we even do the music in the first place? Um, but also allowing ourselves that grace to be on that journey, right? I mean, like, we can't really be too hard on ourselves when we're going through it. But in that process of doing all of that, you managed to record a lot of music. And I know we're limited on time, so I hope you don't mind. Can we get into some shop talk stuff?
sure.
What DAW do you use?
Oh, I don't. Pro Tools. If you have to ask me, Pro Tools. I actually don't cut any of my vocals anymore. At this point in time, like in what I'm doing and my point in this career is if I had to take a step back and learn what the professional who I record with has 25 years experience doing, it would not only set me back from the journey I'm on right now and how fast I'm getting there, but it would also, I mean, and I have no problem learning a new trade, but he handles everything for me. I'm at that stage. I never, if I used honestly, GarageBand was a huge tool for me when I was coming up. But yeah, Pro Tools is where it's at. We almost everyone on my team uses either Pro Tools or Logic.
You're really good at understanding the value, like a lot of things related to um, understanding the value of showing up to people, showing up in person, cultivating relationships, being genuine. So, what kind of advice would you give to people starting out in this business, the entertainment business in particular, who are told it's all about the relationships? Because sometimes what I notice is it's like there's a lot of questions around that. So it's a general it's a broad question, but just in general, I'm trying to get out there. I'm trying to get my music out there. There's so many conferences. There's so many people. There's so many things. We talked about this, I think, in our last
Yeah.
session. Like, what kind of words of advice would you give to people who are really getting in there? And there's so many communities and so many personalities. Like, it could be really overwhelming. What could you say to those people?
Yeah. So I'm gonna say the answer that every library like dreads, but nobody will represent you the way that you represent you. And nobody will advocate for you the way that you advocate for you. And I was getting absolutely nowhere till I started showing up in places and I just would not take no for an answer. If they said no, I would go knock on their door. Like literally, I would show up at a conference where they're all on panel and I'm like, hey guys, remember me? Or I'd befriend their friends because I genuinely like making friends, but also strategy. And then you have to play the political game. And now you're a spider web. They cannot escape you. Like now you can't go within 1 to 5 degrees without like hearing or knowing about Level Up, Brianna, vocal, this, that, like songwriting camps. Now everyone knows. And if they hadn't heard about us, if they ask the person 5 degrees from them, they will know. They will know who we are. And the reason why is because I spent the last 2 years of my life going in a tremendous amount of debt, like probably $250,000. I'm still sitting on of debt. And as a business, you can get loans, you can get whatever. If you have decent credit, you can, whatever. And the reason I tell everybody this, Affirm was my best friend. It still is my best friend. Affirm is a AFFIRM. They helped me tremendously take out. And if I needed to be in LA because I knew that opportunity was going to pay off 5 years from then, I couldn't afford it. So I took out an Affirm. People are like, "Oh, well, Brianna, you shouldn't be talking about personal finance. You're not a wealth advisor." Well, I'm not, and I'm certainly not one to talk to if you want to be super rich right now. I am one to talk to when you want millions in the future. But you know, um, it costs money to make money. It just does. And if you want to be in those circles, to answer your question bluntly, it is all about relationships. I have watched people skip right over my name and give it to their friend. I've watched this happen over and over and over again. I got so tired of it. I was like, you know what? Hey, y'all, I'm going to be your friend because I'm so tired. You're not going to jump my name. No, no, no. I'm not. I'm going to start showing up. And I I'm too Italian for that. So,
I love
no.
it. I love it. Um, and oh shoot, I'm sorry, my internet is unstable. One moment, please. Okay, thank you for that. Sorry about that. Okay, so yes, that kind of relentless kindness is super cool, and I've tried. I've tried, I think, a little bit. Like, I don't know if it's exactly like that, but maybe I have my own version now that you say something like that. Because part of it is also it's a little bit of a small industry in certain pockets, right? So people know people, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
friend thing. Um, but when you're talking about like having the songs, um, you are pretty public about what you create and how you create it, and you're very educational in how you and post. So I highly recommend to everybody watching this, please go follow Level Up and Brianna and support her in any and all ways you can.
Thank you.
You're welcome, of course. But part of the struggle as an independent artist is getting into that flow and finding that. I have a friend, Deb Fisher at APM, and she taught me. My East Coast accent comes out when she taught me build your empire by putting your systems in place, and you must have systems in place to be producing the songs that you're producing in the amounts of time that you're producing
Hey
them.
Rachel, I'm so sorry. Your volume is really low.
Oh, how about now?
There we go. That's better.
Okay. So it's hard to produce music. It takes a lot for independent artists. So, and I know like you've been doing it for a long time. So, but for people who are either getting into it or maybe they have been doing it for a long time, like what does your system look like right now in briefly, but then also any advice for people who feel that mountain of like it's really hard to even just get one song done. Like because for sync and like building your catalog and like even just getting your having the idea and finding putting the team together,
Hmm.
it can be really really overwhelming, and to see people like you it can be really inspiring, but then also like sometimes I can get kind of jealous, like dang, I really wish I could do that. So just like any words of advice, anything that you might think streamlines your process that might help other people.
Yeah, for first thing is all jokes aside, if anyone is ever jealous of me, I feel bad for them.
I know I always say like don't be jealous of
I
people
feel
because
so
nobody
bad.
knows what we're doing, nobody knows what's
Don't
going on.
be jealous of the person who has to work for everything. Be jealous of the person. Don't waste your energy on that, honey. Oh
Oh,
my
and my
God.
therapist taught me comparison is the thief of joy, so
It
so I
is the
do that.
thief of joy. It is,
Yeah,
especially if they were to ever swap shoes with you and they realize how much freaking work
right,
that you and like you don't sleep, you cry every
right,
day,
right.
you're not
They
eating
don't see me rolled
healthy,
up in a
you're
ball.
not, yeah, they don't see that. They don't. And I tried to show that. Then I'd get like really scary messages like, Brianna, are you okay? Are you gonna kill yourself? I'm like, I'm actually
Oh,
not, but thank you for checking in.
oh.
So it was
And by the way, if anybody needs immediate help, you can always text home to 741-741.
yeah,
It's no shame in seeking help.
absolutely not.
Yeah,
Like at this point in time, I am not suicidal.
right.
Ask me 2 years from now, we'll see. No,
God bless. God
but
bless.
I'm
Pick
just
up
saying,
the phone if you need
pick up
it.
the
The help
phone.
is there. And we'll post some, if you're watching the replay, we will post those resources here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot. You get the struggle is what I mean of just trying to put music out. So any words of wisdom on that regard?
Yes, as far as the music and producing the music, finding a really good team, and this comes from the person who doesn't trust anybody. I'm like, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm just gonna do it myself. Nobody has my ears, so I'm just gonna do it myself. You find the person who is the closest to you with those ears, and you just lock onto them tight. Like my engineer, Anthony Rossi, like he hears things that I don't hear, and I hear things that he doesn't hear, and we grow from each other every single time we work together. Like I just did an EDM track today, a Christmas track for a movie trailer, and a inspirational, massive, like 7 layer track, and I did that in 4 hours with him. And the reason why is because he's really fast, and I don't have to wait on him. And he's I could sing his praises to the high heavens, but I'll save you guys. I'll spare you guys. But finding the right team is probably the most crucial part. And I didn't really believe in that at first. I was like, no, I'll just do it myself. I have all these songs I produced, and I'm just gonna buy everything out, and I'm gonna represent it. It's like the truth of the matter is, if you have more people with the same interest as you pushing for this thing, it really does move it forward a lot quicker. So that's
Yeah.
my
You
words
can't
of
do it
wisdom.
alone. And
Cannot do
some
it.
of these, as an independent artist, realistically, these things are like a full career. You have audio engineers, a lifetime career, and then you have, singer, and then you have vocal producer, and then you have vocal arranger, and I mean,
Yep.
it goes down the line, and you're trying to do them all. But everybody can check you out under Brianna Shelko as an artist. Where can everybody find your music?
Yeah, all over Spotify, YouTube, you name it. If you type in like Brianna and like Feel the Love or something like one of my songs, there's a lot of Briannas, but if you type in just all capital letters Brianna and then you type in like Feel the Love, you'll see all I mean, there's tons of other songs that are on there. My old channel, if you want to hear Baby Brianna, is B Shelko Music. So that was like a long time ago. but B Shelko Music isn't, yeah, I think I still have albums under that. But anywho, yeah,
Okay.
finding a team is crucial.
Okay. One quick shop talk related thing, and then let's talk about Level Up conference. Um, Tips for vocalists
Hmm.
when, let's say, yeah, I guess specifically for sync. Any just general tips for singers?
Start with your hardest song first. The reason why is if you can conquer that song, like today, for me, like my sessions are weird. So like if somebody's paying for the demo, I knock that song out first. So today's session doesn't count because it was weird. I had to knock that one out first because it's a paid session. But the songs that I did afterwards, it's like I start with the hardest song and I warm my voice all the way up. That's how I warm it. And then every other song after that is so much easier and you work at a much quicker pace as a vocalist. Um, a lot of people are like, no, do the slow songs and then work your way up to the hard songs. It's like, no, just knock that out of the, just get it out of the way. And now your pace is gonna pick up because you're already warm. Um, yeah, and also as a vocalist, tea and honey and all that good stuff, but also I drink a tremendous amount of water, like daily. Like there's not one time that you'll see me drinking something where I don't have a giant thing of water next to me. You just want to keep those vocal cords nice and wet and, make sure that you're not straining. And then also if you're a mouth breather, make sure that make sure that you have a humidifier or something. If you have a really big performance, you have like a something for a humidifier to kind of create that warmth back in your throat so they're not dried out. And I honestly like lollipops are a big thing for me. Like I'll have a lollipop. I'll go to a bank or whatever, or I'll just buy a bag and just pop a lollipop in there. And no, the sugar's not great for you, but the I buy the honey ones, the honey lollipops or whatever. They're like lollies or something, and it just coats your throat, and it's great. So I try to pop one of those in every other time I record.
How often are you recording a week?
Yeah, I record 10 to 15 songs a week on average. So today I did three because they were stacked. They were stacked songs. And for me, it was actually a slow pace. We were joking about it, me and Anthony, because we did three songs in 4 hours, which for a lot of people is like, what? I do one song in 17 hours. But to be honest, like we move so fast as a team that that's a really slow pace for me as a vocalist. But these specific songs today, with it being like trailerization and all these like, there's a lot of pieces in it, and these aren't songs that I wrote per se. These are songs that I'm a performer on, so it's even harder because you got to nail it as it's performed by the AI, right? I'm in a constant competition with AI right now.
Mm,
Of course, it's not a competition, but I'm like they'll send me an AI demo, which is totally
mm,
fine.
mhm,
And then you have to execute on
mm,
that because, you're the human. So you got to make it better,
mm.
So I'm like constantly, Marcus will make, oh my God, Iris, he sent me an AI demo on this song called Iris. And that was probably the most challenging session I think I had done as far as like runs and riffs. But we did it and it sounds really good. And Marcus can drop the link if he decides that he wants to. But
Yeah, please do. Please do.
yeah.
Um, and I'm familiar with that type of thing because I want people to understand that you know that's really cool to get that much done. And at this point in your career, you had a very early start, right? Like that might not be realistic for people. I have a team with my husband, so when we decide to do something, I can literally just walk right here. We can get some stuff done, and it's just kind of. But this is after 25 years of working together, and so what advice? Last question here, and then we'll move into the level up. Um, what advice would you give to people who, like, I don't know, when you're building a team, like in terms of people, and you say, because you said like you're really skeptical, like you're careful, and like that's great because I talk about openly how I'm a trauma survivor, and I'm very skeptical and kind of careful. So like just any kind of words of wisdom for people, like how do you know when that's the right producer? And for me as a vocalist, as a songwriter, it's like, and as a woman. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
hard to decide who to trust in this business. Any words of wisdom in that regard?
So, growing up, if you've had any kind of trauma and I think all of us do in our own way, right? You develop this thing called discernment, right? But there are clues. If your belly's not working and that belly button, literally I call it like the discernment button is not working that day, there are clues. For me, I look for a producer whose setup is in front of me, not behind me, as a woman. If I have to walk into a studio and there's no open door, or if they close the door behind me, like I am already on edge because being a woman in a studio who's experienced things like that doesn't leave you good feelings. Like you want to be the last one entering and you want to be the first one exiting at all times. So if the engineer is sitting in front of you, that's a really good indication. Like Anthony's setup is on the front. There's no escaping for him. He like you're going out the door first and he's going second, you know what I mean? So that's something I really or the engineers who are side by side with you too really like that setup. But the minute that they're behind you, I don't dig it. Like if they have a microphone set up in front of them, which has happened to me several times, and they're just watching you from behind or whatever, I'll walk right out of a session. Another way to kind of tell who to trust is their ability to take notes. If they do not take notes well, or if they don't make time for notes, or if they don't, I just had a whole situation, and I was working with somebody who didn't like notes that they were given. Can no longer really trust that person to the extent that you know what I mean? Because notes is a part of this industry. So I, based off of how big their ego is on it, like their creativeness or whatever, like if they're not willing to take notes, I can't work with them. Um, those are my two biggest indicators as far as like their
That's
ego and their
great.
ability to,
Amazing.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of what I look for.
so great. Thank you so much, Brianna. You have some really amazing things going on. Tell me about Level Up. You have two kind of versions of Level Up. Can you tell us a little bit about both of them?
Yeah. So Level Up is so excuse me. I have the burps and I didn't want to be rude.
Oh, it's okay.
Um,
Thank you.
so Level Up is a sonic branding and custom music house. Started the company 4 years ago, but really kicked it into high gear about 2.5 years ago. That company is, which is our main company, is all custom music, all custom vocals, sonic branding. So when you think of like ba da ba ba ba, that would be like something that our company would do for anybody, cars, automotive, anything, house, real estate, lawyers, all that good stuff. And then we also are a clearance company as well. So we will clear massive songs. We don't do music supervision. That's something we kind of stay out of, but because we are creatives, we want us to remain creatives. We don't want to be put in that position of power to do that. So yeah, that's what we do on the for-profit side. And then we have a nonprofit side, which is our 501(c). And we were granted nonprofit status in April of 2024. And we throw sync songwriting camps globally. So basically, how I told you guys I didn't grow up with a bunch of access or money to these rooms. I started building these rooms and I started building them the way that I would have been challenged in a room. And, being a 7 minute, like a person who can knock out a song in 7 minutes, like there's not a lot of people who can challenge me on the average. So I wanted to create rooms where it was like kind of like the World Cup for songwriting. And so we've done well over 50 camps now, with no funding. We have not received a grant or anything. One of my clients, Monster Energy, does donate every year, which is a very, very kind thing for them to do. Um, but we have this thing called the Level Up Sync Conference, and it's every year. And this year it's on August 8th. I said that weird. August, August 8th. And it's about,
Wisconsin, I think
it's
it's
all
in.
day from like 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. But that's because we're going, West Coast to East Coast, and it has to make sense for the West Coasters too. But it's our annual fundraiser for our nonprofit. And then we can take those ticket sales, and literally every ticket sold goes into this little bank that we have for the nonprofit. And we're able to like write travel scholarships for the folks who just don't have the financial means to get out to a camp, or we can help, like we were able to help significantly last year with some people who had lost things, or not last year but the year before, in the fires. That nonprofit went towards that, so we were able to buy foods or donate, or like help an animal get transferred or transported somewhere. And that's what we want to do. It's basically empowering the songwriters who never got the opportunity to do what we're doing now to to do it well and be empowered. So
And what is the conference entail? Because I know that you have our buddies, the Evil Geniuses, kicking it off in the morning, and everybody, by the way,
they're
highly
actually at night.
recommend. Are
They're
they?
at they're at 11 at night. Yeah.
Oh, they're at 11 at night.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, so then I will be able to catch it because I thought I would not be able to catch it. Okay, awesome. So please visit our friends Evil Geniuses there, but you have a lot of really cool people. So guys, highly recommend. We have a special announcement here coming up also about this event, but just briefly, what can people expect?
Okay, so they can expect Disney executives, Disney TV executives. They can Bridgerton, Grey's Anatomy executives and music supervisors, trailer houses who make the decisions on like all your favorite movie trailers. The Moana movie trailer folks are on there. All big movie trailers, like even Dracula, the company that allowed me to sing the vocals for the new Dracula trailer will be on the panel. I'm literally taking everyone who I have aspired to work with this whole time or who I do currently work with, and I'm putting them on a panel for other people to have access. And I'm not sure, a lot of people are like, why would you ever do that? Like that is so, why would you do that? Keep them to yourself. And I'm like, you know what? If I help somebody land their first trailer, they are going to remember me forever. And and they're going to remember that forever. Like
That
that you
comes
have
up
no
in
idea.
my world all the time. I'm like, there's no possible way I can hold on to everything. There's no
No,
way.
no, there's certain relationships that you have to safeguard because they don't feel comfortable being exposed. So you respect those as they come. But like, the ones who are on panel, they want to be exposed. They want people to know who they are and all the incredible work that they're doing. So yeah, I mean, we have anywhere from like literally from spanning from movie trailers to gaming to advertising to supervision to composing to the artists who are making crazy money with like artists like myself who are making 10x what I make every quarter because they figured out what to do. So it's everyone who I want to personally learn from and work with. And you'll see Marcus on there as well. He helps co-host the situation every year, and he's also our head of business development. So you'll see him all over the place.
And of course, we support Marcus DeFinga's
Yeah,
in any way we can. Sorry, I was gonna say something else, but my
yeah,
brain
you're fine.
skipped a little bit. Okay, so also you are so generous in offering a discount for our musicians peer support community. So everybody, please to go to this. Now you have two different things. You're offering a VIP experience here. Which I highly recommend. Not sure what the slots or what the availability is. I myself was thinking about doing it. I wasn't sure about the time, also about that, and all the kind of the logistical things, because I know we're running out of time here. So, anything about the VIP experience or the VIP tickets that you could tell us about?
Yeah, so we have general and we have VIP. General is if you just want to come and you want to hang out and you want to network and you want to be online, totally fine. And keep in mind that all these tickets, like I said, are a fundraising effort. It's not like everybody, by the way, who's on our panels have volunteered to be on our panels under the 501. They are not getting paid to be on our panel. So every ticket sale is truly going towards our mission, um, which is just a beautiful thing. But anywho, the VIP ticket it includes the ability to pitch one of your songs. So it is a tremendous opportunity if you're trying to get it in front of, if you're one trying to get it signed to people who are legitimate people on these panels who I have signed my works with. There are so many who I've not put on my panels because I know they're not legitimate and I'm not going to let anyone else do that under my watch. So these folks who are on these panels are vetted. I work with them. I've signed paperwork with them. I've placed with them. They have my music. I have their music, et cetera, et cetera. So the VIP is a really cool experience because you get real time feedback and it's called a pitch or pass session. So basically at that moment, they're going to decide live on panel if they're going to pitch your music in their catalog or if they would like to. kind of like a golden buzzer, or if they're going to pass on it. And then they'll give you feedback on why.
And most of you in MPS know this, but just to say it for the camera, is the feedback in and of itself is of high value,
Yeah.
and the experience as well. So not only are you giving back to the community by attending this event, you're
Yep.
getting something in return that is kind of invaluable, in my opinion, because it's also about the relationships. And when you look at it that way, then now you're talking really, really, really invaluable. So thank you so much for the opportunity. That's something, yeah, I myself am hoping to take advantage of. I'm just hoping about my work schedule and so just
Oh,
logistical
that
things.
was the other thing as far as logistics go.
Yeah.
So there are plenty of people who buy a ticket to support. Just throwing this out here, they buy a ticket to support. They also still get their VIP. Of course, you want to be online for the experience, but the entire thing is recorded and it's broken down into segments. So God forbid there's an emergency, you can't be online. You get access to that recording forever. So it lives. So even if you're like, oh no, it's 11 p.m. I'm gonna fall asleep. I can't like make it to like see what my feedback is.
So, okay, so what you're saying is if I submit and there's still enough time and
Yeah,
my song is chosen,
yep,
you'll still go through the whole process. I don't
yep.
have to
You
be
don't have to
present
be
in the
online.
room.
Nope.
Oh,
You do
very
not have to be online.
cool.
Yeah, we want to make sure that everyone who gets a VIP gets their VIP experience. So if things happen like emergencies, in which it does happen, we had a few people miss out last year and they would text me like, "Oh no, I just want to know what my feedback was from so and so." And it's like, absolutely. So they got the Zoom link and it's broken down into
Amazing.
several segments. Yeah.
Really, really great. We here at MPS don't record our feedback sessions, don't post replays ever. So
Yep.
something like that, again, is extremely valuable. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
And Brianna, thank you so much for offering our community a little discount.
Yeah.
Everybody gets MPS 10 discount. Well, I guess available only until available, while supplies last. Um,
While supplies last. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so we've got to get in there. But thank you so much for your generous discount for that. That's super cool, and just for the opportunity to be able to pitch and for being so kind to our community. Really, really appreciate that.
Absolutely. And, I'm going to drop the link in here so everybody has it.
And shout out to Marcus for being resourceful as usual and posting that as well. Everybody, I'm going to post a replay of this and put the link in the chat as well. I want to be able to have happy hour with Brianna before our hard out, so I would like to conclude the recording. Brianna, I'm so sorry to kind of pick up the pace a little bit here. I know you got some stuff going
You're
on
okay.
today,
Yeah,
but
guys, sorry I couldn't hang out longer. We're under contract for a house as well as Dafinga's. So he's coming to
hey,
my
hey,
town.
hey, hey.
He's moving over here to Atlanta to the ATL. And so we're
Oh!
both under contract at the same
Oh
time.
my God, congratulations to both of you. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that more. And yeah, again, Marcus, I'm really sorry. But before we conclude the recording here, Brianna, just for everybody else, let me change my views here. You've been such a lovely guest. I thank you so much for being here. You know our community. I think we mentioned it before. We have a lot of different people in here. It runs the gamut. People from starting out to the veterans in the business who've been here for many, many years. Any kind of last words of advice, words of wisdom, anything for the greater good of the group, greater good of the world?
Yeah, keep faith first. Keep your head forward. Um, and expect that there will be 50 no's before you get one decent yes. And this is just from experience. Like when I don't keep my faith first, I have a problem. For me, whether it's meditative faith, if you're not a believer, anything like that, you do whatever your version of faith is. But for me, as a Christian, that includes praying a lot. Two, keeping your head forward, meaning don't look around you. Don't look around who's got what and what they're doing, because I guarantee you that their battle has been extremely hard, just like yours. So do not look to your left and your right. Just look forward, because every time I look down, I'm afraid to fall. And that's not what we do. And third, making sure that any chance that you have to help another person up and give back, do that. it will never, it might come to bite you if they're a snake and you don't know it and they bite you. A snake's gonna bite, but there's always a snake handler somewhere, and you'll end up seeing their downfall or their demise, and it comes back in good karma anyways. So
Yeah, thank you so much. Very well said. And I just really appreciate you being here on your own time.
thank you.
Everybody, please give it up for Brianna Shelko for being so generous. Thank you, Brianna.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And then also one last thing too, we have a Skool account. If you guys
Yes.
don't know what Skool is, it's Skool. Marcus can drop the link for that, but it's a free community. Everybody can join. Rachel, I hope to see you on there too. It's literally just to get like some of our briefs and update announcements on camps. And, we have like a New Mexico camp that we're open for applications. We only have four spots left for that one, meaning four beds left because there's only 6 songwriters worldwide who get accepted to that one in New Mexico. So, yeah. So, anyways,
Thank you
have
so much.
a
And
great
and
night.
and also, please follow Brianna everywhere. Support her in any way. Please buy a ticket to the Level Up conference on August 8th. That's the number one thing. And stay tuned because I think Brianna's got some really cool things on deck as well. So
We
thank you
do.
so
We
much.
do.
Everybody give it up one more time for Brianna Shelko. Thank you,
Thank y'all
Brianna.
so much.
Okay, so this will conclude the recording. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It's briannashelko.com, right?
Oh, no, it's levelupmusic.biz.
Okay, levelupmusic.biz is the website. Our website is musicianspeersupport.com. Visit us. And if you're watching the replay, please comment below so that me and Brianna know that you watched the video. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
guys. Have a good one.
Bye.